Hello everyone, Mark here, Mark's Max Muscle, for realsies. And today we are taking a look at this gentleman here, Phil the Gift Heath. And not only that, we're going to be doing a comparison with him and Brandon Curry in just a second, but first, a little run through on Phil Heath. He is, after all, second best bodybuilder in history. Won the title here in 2011, maybe his best. 2012, he retained, looked good. 2013, wow, maybe his best. 14. Whoa, Casus Belly in 2014. He retained his title. 2015, fit and trim, looked pretty good. Lost a little bit of his V-taper there in 2016, as you can see. Not bad, not a bad version. 2017, he came back bigger and, well, maybe not better, but he was huge. He was huge everywhere, though, especially that midsection. At the bottom of the midsection, you can see it really let go. It really let go. So the following year, of course, he lost the title to Shawn Rhoden. May he rest in peace. So the next year, as we all know, Brandon Curry swooped in like a phoenix, took that title, and nothing to take away from this man. He looked incredible, but there was no Shawn Rhoden. There was no returning champion. There was no Kai Green. There was no Phil Heath. So that was your top three. Gone. So Brandon Curry, he got an easy one. Let's face it. He got an easy one. And considering Phil did return the following year, and he never won, neither did Curry, Ramy won, it begs the question, if if you just had returned the following year in 2019, I think you would have won the title. He would have looked similar to 2018, and that is the... Hey, I'm not done yet. So yeah, that will be the comparison we are going to look at to decide if Phil Heath, if he's dominant in this comparison. I believe that he would have made it 8 titles. He could have tied the record of Ronnie King Coleman and Lee Haney. Wow. So let's bring these dudes back into the center here. Can you get a hold of them? Oh, there we go. Get center. All new technology. I'll slide them in the center. Turn my camera off, too. Take the heat off me for a minute. Phil Heath. Wow. He is a big unit. He looks a lot bigger than Curry. And I'm not interested in how tall these guys are. I'm interested on how they look next to each other. And this is them standing next to each other, guys. Phil Heath, whether he's an inch or half inch taller than Curry, he stands taller. So I'm going to go ahead and make them how tall they would be if they actually did stand next to each other. Now, Phil, he is, like I said, he's a big unit, big everywhere. Look at the midsection. That hernia, things of that nature, guys. He's not going to get back to his original form. And Curry, he took care of himself. Nom sing. And he still managed to get huge. Look at guys in the 90s, Lee Priests, things of that nature. And I'm sure there is a certain culprit that makes them extra big, but extra big everywhere. Everywhere, guys. So, go through these poses. Phil Heath, in many ways, he is defeating Curry. Hard density, overall condition, calves, for goodness sakes, the wheels, for extra goodness sakes. Just the separation is far superior. But Phil also had all of that on Shawn Rhoden. And Shawn beat him on flow, shape, just aesthetically pleasing look. And Curry, that's kind of the game he's playing. But he's a little weaker in the calves than your Shawn Rhoden was. But he is far superior in the arms. Look at that. And look at the lats. He's kind of taking Phil to school. And I had to look at a lot of side-by-side pictures of these guys to see. And, you know, Curry, he really did have a nice, big, wide clavicle. Frame-wise, upper body, probably better than Phil. All those muscle attachments, though. My soul. Still worthy of a victory in the front double for Brandon Curry. Go to the front lat spread. Ooh, geez Louise. Maybe this eighth title wouldn't have been quite so easy for Phil to grasp. Curry, he was on fire here. Keep in mind, he beat a very prime Hattie Shupin. Throw in a William Bonac. Bonac gave Phil a good run there in 2017, for sure. For sure. But having said that, there's just no way that Phil can get out of the woods against Brandon Curry from the front. It's just too much pop. Wow. Favorable for Curry, but I'm going to write on my little pad here. Phil is winning. Winning. On the calves, the entire legs, the separation, the overall condition as well. But if you want to say 2-0, you go ahead and do that. Turn to the side, and I'd like to just take a second just to humanify this video, because as we know, that AI is taking over. So remember, people, that AI, it can't really love you like I do. Oh, hold on a second, I'm checking here. I guess it does. I guess it can love you. I guess it can. So I don't know what's going on. Big unit again. Phil Heath. Structure, he's huge. Look at the size of the arms on the guy. Muscle separation up to the yin-yang, hanging hamstring, things of that nature. But when it comes to round, full, pleasing muscle, this Brandon Curry is awesome. Very good indeed. And I did have, like I said, quite a few glances of them from the 2020, and you can see here, Brandon, his upper body is just perfectly proportioned. So if aesthetics are your thing, yes, Curry's winning. But if it is the type of meat, well, let's just go to the side tricep. And it's kind of the same thing here. If it's the type of meat, the separation, the deep tissue, I mean, Phil has it. Look at the tricep. Look at the delt. You can obviously see that. You can see some glutes poking out there too. Yes, indeedy. But Curry, once again, very, very strong from the side. So it is of some debate. I think the front goes to Curry with an edge to conditioning to Phil the Gift Heath. To go to the back. This is where Phil's going to take over. Supreme condition. Take a close look. The type of deep, raw, boned condition that gets you in the same conversation of a Dorian Yates type level of condition, or a Ronnie the King Coleman level of condition. But having said that, I don't think Phil was as peeled here as he was prior to this. But still, look at the lower back, look at the traps, separation. Curry's good and wide, I'll tell you that. Even when I compared the two from 2020, and Phil was even more narrow then. So Curry, he is as wide as a bus. Look at the lower half. Not very conditioned for Curry, and not very impressive either. Still more conditioned than Jay Cutler in 07, I can tell you that. I seen somebody's comment. Curry, why not Curry for the least conditioned? Much more peeled than good old Jay. That wouldn't say hello to Lee Priest. Here's the rear double, for goodness sakes. I'll let that go at some point in time. Again, a brutal beating. This is a beating all over the place. Overall condition. Even the arms here for Phil are awesome. And trust me, Brandon Curry is definitely not Tinker Bell in the arm department. The guy is a Hostetler stud, a Buckingham Palaces. Baby, please. But Phil is just... he has maybe the best hamstrings in bodybuilding. Maybe the best calves of his time, anyway. And Brandon Curry, the least impressive hamstrings, glutes, and calves that you're ever going to see. So what a contrast in a direct comparison. Go to the abs and thigh. Interesting. Now, I would suspect, and I say this like a broken record. I sound like a broken record. Brandon Curry should be more separated in the abs and thigh. It is just a little too smooth, Monsoon. A little too smooth. Phil Heath, he's just kind of... He doesn't have that booming V-taper that he once had. Kind of lost that in 2016. Got it back in 17. He lost it here in 18. I don't know. Quad department. It is Tom Platz versus Frank Zane. Type dominance for Phil Heath. But I mean, come on. When you're looking at the abs, you're looking at the midsection, you're most likely going to go with Curry. Last pose here. Most muscular. Sounds like John Cena. Most muscular. Bum, 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 bum. Most muscular. You guys like John Cena? I don't. Well, I don't dislike the guy. Just didn't like his wrestling matches. I preferred the Ultimate Warrior. Stick around to the end. Maybe you'll see an Ultimate Warrior impression. But anyway, the clavicle width of Curry, awesome. Again, he is dominant in many, many ways. And you could say the exact same thing about Phil. Here's the crab. Another most muscular. They should have did like an opera version of that. Most muscular. But yes, I guess that has nothing to do with it, does it? Phil, he would probably have won in 2019, but hey, if Sean Roden done did it in 2018, then maybe Brandon Curry would have done the same thing. Maybe they would have went with Brandon Curry also. Because at the end of the day, before the 2018 Olympia was over, I suggested that they were going to give it to Phil Heath. I thought Phil was doing enough, but they just do not prefer that midsection anymore. And I guess that attention, special attention to the midsection, it's better for us bodybuilding fans. It's better for the overall health of the bodybuilders. And since 2018, I guess all of the Olympia champions have been more aesthetically pleasing. Derek's midsection was a little, well, I don't know, I want to call it soggy. I don't want to be disrespectful to Derek, but aside from him, there's been nothing but great midsections. So I hope you enjoyed this comparison, and I owe you an Ultimate Warrior impression, don't I? Well, it just so happens we have I am the Ultimate Warrior. You, Hulk Hogan, travel to WrestleMania. That's the Warrior. I prefer the Macho Man. Time is limited here. Tick tock, tick tock. Take that, Warrior, pig face. Anyway, have a great one, guys.